Good morning and welcome to Sunday school. I'll be your Sunday school teacher this morning. I'm Mr. Lon. I'll be sitting in with no, I had a terribly obscene thing I was going to say. No, I'm not going to. It'll be obscene enough for Sunday school. Anyway, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for the subject for tomorrow night's Monday night class up here in Sacramento. And so I've been, which is on actually the Star Sapphire, the ritual, Crowley's ritual, the Star Sapphire. And now much has been made about the Star Sapphire, that it's just a thin blind for a sex magic operation. Well, you could say that about absolutely everything, okay? Everything you could say it's just a thin blind for a sex magic operation because that's such a universal thing. It applies to everything. Miniature golf. Oh, miniature golf. Oh, with the ball and the hole. But there's something else going on. There's the miniature golf game. Okay. So when people say, well, I've practiced the pentagram ritual now for 6 years and it hasn't done anything for me. What's it supposed to do for me? Look, as you're memorizing a ritual and performing it time after time and getting it to be a second nature thing, you can do it in your sleep and everything else. Technically, that's really just rehearsing the ritual. So when the ritual itself is something, is a concept, a spiritual concept matched with your spiritual level of understanding, your spiritual level of your point of view. And then the ritual itself is an outward enactment of that understanding. So if you don't get what a pentagram ritual is about, okay, practice it away. It's good for you. But it's just a rehearsal until I get it. Now when you're doing your pentagrams, you're actually working. You're working with the the forces and level of, Kabbalists would say, the intelligences that you're working with. So, but we're doing the hexagram ritual, or the Thelemic hexagram ritual, and I'm going to read a couple of things from different places, because this Star Sapphire is really so much more than a thelematized hexagram ritual to work with the planetary spheres. The pentagram ritual is a ritual to work with the elemental levels. Yeah, on the surface, that's what it is. But that elemental level that the pentagram ritual is dealing with goes throughout absolutely every pore of the mind of God. Okay, everything is connected to everything else, and you can't escape it. Just like the governors of the 30 Enochian heavens. The governors, there's three governors per level, per each individual aether or heaven, except for the lowest one, there's four. But those guys, those three governors also rule and govern 91 parts of the earth. Everything is connected to everything else. If you're dealing with something on a higher octave, you're setting a vibration that is resonating on a lower octave. Okay, so the well, let's hear what DuQuette has to say here. And I'm reading from The Magic of Aleister Crowley, the 25th anniversary edition here. Once the magician has become adept in the execution of the microcosmic rituals of the pentagram, the next step, according to tradition, is to master the rituals of the signet ring of the macrocosm, the hexagram. The Thelemic ritual of the hexagram is Liber 36, that's 6 times 6. The Star Sapphire, which first appeared in the 1913 first edition of the Book of Lies. As we'll see later, this ritual is much more than a conventional ritual of the hexagram supercharged with Thelemic components. In fact, there are many who consider it Crowley's greatest contribution to Western Hermeticism. Before we examine the Star Sapphire, we need a fundamental understanding of the classic rituals of the hexagram. To this end, in the book, I'm not going to go through all of this right now. To this end, we will first examine the lesser ritual of the hexagram and Crowley's comments on the greater ritual of the hexagram as they appear in his Liber O, part 4 of or Liber O, part 4. For the most part, the rituals are self-explanatory, so I've kept my introductory comments brief. Okay, the Golden Dawn defined the hexagram as, quote, a powerful symbol representing the operation of the 7 planets under the presidency of the Sephiroth. There's 7 planets, but a hexagram is 6 pointed, but the sun is in the middle, okay? Under the presidency of the Sephiroth and the 7-lettered name Ararita, or Ararita. I pronounce it Ararita, okay? A divine name formed from the Hebrew initials of the sentence. One is his beginning, one is his individuality, his permutation is one. Now, there's all this one talk in that mantra of supreme unity. One, okay? It's making those 6 create the one. That's the magic. Using the 6 to create the one. Just like in the pentagram ritual, using the 4 elements to create or transcend or identify with spirit, the 5th. Perhaps the most concise definition of Ararita can be found in the English translations of the last words of the Star Sapphire. 6 in 1 through the names of the 7 in 1. Ararita. Concerning this 7-fold word, Crowley wrote in his 1909 privately printed edition of Thelema, the use of this name and formula is to equate and identify every idea with its opposite. Now remember, below the abyss, there are opposites. There is duality below the abyss. And the mechanics of that duality, the workmen of that duality are those 7 planetary spheres. They've all got their opposites. Okay, they're within themselves and with each other. They're on different sides of the tree of life. And there's duality down there. And as Crowley says here, the name and use of the formula Ararita, that brings them all together, is to equate and identify every idea with its opposite, thus being released from the obsession of thinking any one of them is true. And if you think it's true, then you're bound to it. And therefore binding, as DuQuette said. One can withdraw oneself from the whole sphere of Ruach once you've identified absolutely every idea with its opposite. Once you've done that, you've released yourself from the thinking part of your soul. You can't think your way across the abyss, okay? And equating every idea with its opposite using this formula, the 6 in 1 of the word of the 7 in 1. You're doing that. Now, everybody that actually rehearses this ritual is not doing it, but you're setting the stage. You're building the scaffolding for it to happen once the shoe drops and the light bulb goes off. That's what I'm doing, okay? So you're rising above. You're using the Ruach in a way to rise above the Ruach. The hexagram itself is illustrative of the union of opposites. Its classic form, you're going to love this. The classic form, where am I? Okay. The classic form, it combines a red upright triangle of fire with a blue downward pointing triangle of water. That's the classic one, which has its apex pointing downwards. We'll soon learn that the Star Sapphire, it's not the case. So, briefly, that's sort of how it'd be projected on the tree of life. Notice how Saturn, okay, a nice clean triangular hexagram there is sort of amended because Saturn is above the abyss and off to the left there, but you can see the hexagram projected on the tree of life with the sun right smack dab in the middle. Okay. When projected on a tree of life, the hexagram includes the Sephiroth 3 through 9. Da'ath, Binah, notwithstanding, this area of the tree is attributed to the third Kabbalistic world, Yetzirah. That's the Vav of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, and that's the Holy Guardian Angel principality too. And the Vav of the Tetragrammaton. If we recall the allegory of the Tetragrammaton, Princess Hay Final, anesthetized and exiled in the microcosmic world of 5, must be awakened by the kiss of the prince, Vav, her brother, lover, emissary of the macrocosm, the world of 6. That's this 5 equals 6 thing of the Holy Guardian Angel. Their union eventually results in the princess becoming the supernal queen, Hay, number 3, and the prince becoming king, Yod, in number 2. The spiritual roles these 4 characters play will become profoundly important in understanding the Star Sapphire. And as a matter of fact, in the Star Sapphire, the princess, holy guardian angel prince, princess becomes a queen, her being a queen makes the king. And in the Star Sapphire, we've got father, mother, son, daughter. And a different combination of them in the circle around you. Okay. Now, and putting those different combinations together, eventually you rise above it. Father marries mother. Mother gives birth to twins, son, daughter. So father, mother, mother, son, son, daughter, and then daughter, father, like a snake with its tail in its mouth. Okay, yeah, she manifests that. The daughter is so important in Hermetic Kabbalah. Anyway, so here's the handout. I spent too much time on this week. Here is the handout. I've got a copy of the Star Sapphire right there. Okay, and everybody's got that. And you can see this a little better on the real copy. But there is the father, mother, son, daughter positions, and they're attributed to Yod He Vav He. Okay, and here are versions of the holy hexagrams. Okay, for fire in the east, or Aries, you've got the 2 fire ones pointing upwards. Okay. And in the south for Capricorn, one of them is flipped. Okay. And that's that hexagram. But in the west, we've got the hexagram of the 2 triangles doing that. Okay. And in the north, we've got the 2 triangles doing that. Now you notice I've got those paper dolls. Okay, because this is where the idea, okay, because this dynamic is in absolutely everything, and it is the creative force of the cosmos, and because our creative force of reproduction that ignites our libidos, and the biggest metaphor for the creation of the cosmos is, for us mammals, or we mammals, is okay, and because Crowley just loved to equate everything with that sacred act of human beings, universal act, he put them in. Okay, so it'd be like different ways of doing this. Okay, not only that, but they move around. Now I've used the unicursal hexagram to show how they move around, but it is the direction of the force. And it's the direction of the giving and the receiving, and it's the direction of the giving and receiving in 2 kinds of direction, if you will. Okay. Here's the Star Sapphire. Let the adept be armed with his magic rood. Okay, and if we're going to take it to the sexual level, that would be the phallus, and provided with his mystic rose. Okay, and that would be the yoni. Now, like I say, regarding the holy hexagram, because I'm going to read you what he says is the holy hexagram. Instead of trying to imagine 4 physical gymnastic postures, think of them as 4 progressive stages of the universal impulse to create. On the material plane of consciousness, this supreme force is reflected in our various sexual impulses and under the right circumstances has the potential to create a physical child. But on higher, more subtle planes of consciousness, it has the potential of creating anything, including one's own awakening and disillusion into Godhead. Okay, in the center, let him make the LVX signs, or if he know them and will and dare to do them and keep silent about them, those are the powers of the Sphinx. The signs of NOX being the sign of Puer, Vir, Puella, Mulier, omit the sign of Osiris or Isis rejoicing. Okay, let him advance to the east and make the holy hexagram, saying, Pater et Mater unus Deus Ararita, Father and Mother, one God, Ararita. Now, what's this holy hexagram that he's talking about? Is he talking about you drawing a picture in the air? Well, in your rehearsal, shit, yes. But in the Book of Lies, chapter 69, Crowley writes, and he titles that little chapter, The Way to Succeed and the Way to Suck Eggs. Chapter 69. This is the holy hexagram. Descend or plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. That's one way of looking at it, okay. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is ascending tongue of power. See, I got their tongues there. The interchange, the double gifts of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work, for the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, is not that word, abrahadabra, equal to chet, the Hebrew letter chet, that is Cancer, whose sign is 69. This work also eats itself up and accomplishes its own ends, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. That's how that ends. Okay, his comment on that is, the key to the understanding of this chapter is given in the number and title, the former, the number, being intelligible to all nations who employ Arabic figures, 69. Do I have to draw you a picture? No, maybe I have to cut you out of paper dolls. The latter, only experts in deciphering English puns. Succeed, suck eggs. Okay. The chapter alludes to Levi's drawing of the hexagram and is a criticism or our improvement upon it. In the ordinary hexagram of nature, the red triangle is upward, like fire, and the blue triangle downward, like water. In the magical hexagram, this is reversed. The descending red triangle uh, let's see. The descending red triangle is that of Horus. The sign is especially sacred to him. Okay, the sign of that he's talking about is a red descending triangle. You might see that on the breast of robes and things like that. And the blue triangle has its apex pointing upwards. It is the flame descending upon the altar and licking up the burnt offering. That's from there was a prophet duel in the Old Testament where the tongue of God came like a lightning flash and licked up the burnt offerings. Okay. The blue is the color of devotion, and the triangle, kinetically considered, is the symbol of directed force. Okay, there's all of that. But let me continue with the Star Sapphire. And let me take the paper clips off my holy hexagram here. Okay, don't want to, their hands are so delicate. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm taking up too much of your time today. Here's the Star Sapphire. Now, let him go to the east to make the holy hexagram. He doesn't say of fire, water, air, earth, or anything, but the classic one is Aries. Okay. Classic one is Aries. And that would be your paper dolls, both the blue and the red are upright. Okay. And that would be kind of a preliminary position. Then you go round to the south, and now your red one flips downward. Your red one flips downward upon, let's see, like this. So that would be the Earth one, okay? And cardinal Earth is Capricorn, okay? So this is what the hexagram you're drawing, or the hexagram you're forming, or the hexagram you're embodying in the south, okay? Then you say one God. So the first one, Aries, was father, mother, okay? And this one is mother, son. Now, don't get carried away on the Kabbalistic cosmic scale. This is not a felony. Mother, son. Okay, go round to the west and do the air sign. Okay, and that air sign is like this. Okay, that's still a, okay. And finally, in the north, or in Cancer, it is like this. And there is the double tongue that Crowley is talking about in the star. Okay. This is the sign. This shall be the sign of set triumphant, etc., etc. And then he goes on to say, all in two, two in one, one in nothing. These are neither four, nor all, nor two, nor one, not nothing. Glory be to the Father and the Mother and the Son and the Daughter, and to the Holy Spirit without and the Holy Spirit within, which was and is and shall be world without end, 6 in 1 through the names of the 7 in 1 Ararita. Okay, then repeat the LVX or NOX signs depending on your the level that you're taking this ritual on. But have I totally confused you? Okay, I want to find that line that says, oh yeah, that's in the Book of Lives. This is the holy hexagram, plunge from the height of God, interlock with man. Plunge with the height of man and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. The interchange, this double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not the word equal to Het, that is Cancer, whose sign is 69, whose tarot card is the Chariot. The charioteer holds the Holy Grail, and the Holy Grail is delivered across the abyss to number 3 in Bina. The Chariot card, Het, Abrahadabra, is the delivery boy, is the FedEx of the Holy Grail across the abyss, delivering the totality of all evolving life and consciousness, and delivering it like the sacred blood to Our Lady Babylon in number 3. And it's as simple as that. That's it for Sunday. I remember when I went to Sunday school, okay, there was a felt board. And you used characters like also cut out of felt, like this would be King David, okay, to illustrate. And King David was in the background, there's like Jerusalem and stuff. King David found favor with God, who made him a great thing. But he did something naughty, okay, to displease God, and then the Sunday school teacher would take the King David and go, but he fell from grace, and you can too if you do naughty things. Well, this is the magical Thelemic version of Lon's Sunday school things talking about exotic sex acts. Maybe I'm being naughty. Okay, until tomorrow for Monday morning, the order of Monday morning, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. Okay. And if all of that has confused you, no end, just get out your copy of The Magic of Aleister Crowley and just read up to that point. I tried to take it everything one step at a time and not squeeze it into a half hour. Okay, goodbye. See you tomorrow.